When you think of the funniest plays ever written, there's a good chance Oscar Wilde's The Importance of Being Earnest is right at the top of the list. I mean, it is celebrated, and for good reason, as one of the most brilliant and just plain witty comedies in the English language. The characters are legendary, the lines are iconic, and honestly, it's been getting huge laughs for over 100 years. I mean, just listen to a line like that from the incredible Lady Bracknell. It's so absurd, it's so funny, it's just pure, uncut Oscar Wilde. But it also makes you wonder, right? Is all of this amazing wit just for a good laugh? Or is there something, a little deeper going on, just under the surface? So, is this play really just a trivial little comedy? The reason we're even asking is that Wilde himself seemed to be hinting that he was playing a much bigger game here. It's almost like he was winking at his audience, kind of daring them to look a little closer and see what he'd hidden right there in plain sight. And get this, Wilde left us a massive clue in the play's subtitles. At first, he called it a serious comedy for trivial people, which is a pretty clear jab at a shallow society. But then he flipped it. He changed it to a trivial comedy for serious people. And that switch is everything. He's basically saying he made this super light, funny play for a serious audience, an audience that was smart enough to dig through the jokes and find the really sharp critique hidden inside. Okay, so let's start peeling this onion. The very first layer, the most obvious one, is the play as a piece of razor-sharp satire. Wilde is taking direct aim at the pompous and frankly ridiculous customs of Victorian high society. What he's really zeroing in on are those suffocating social rules that ran everything back then. He's just tearing apart the hypocrisy and the complete obsession with silly, trivial things that defined the upper class, especially when it came to major life stuff like marriage, class, and where you stood in society. And you could not ask for a better symbol of all this social stiffness than Lady Bracknell. Seriously, she's not even a character. She's an institution. For her, love has nothing to do with it. Marriage is a business merger, plain and simple. It's a deal where a potential husband is judged by his bank account and his connections, not by who he actually is as a person. Yeah, the idea that a young woman shouldn't get a say in who she marries is just wild to us today. But that's the genius of it. By having Lady Bracknell say these things so matter-of-factly, Wilde is perfectly satirizing a world that literally treated people, especially women, like they were just assets on a corporate balance sheet. So that brings us to our next layer. If society is basically a prison of ridiculous rules, how do our characters get any freedom at all? Well, they get it through deception. The entire play really is built on a foundation of lies, fake identities, and secret lives. I mean, this is the main problem for our heroes, Jack and Algernon. How are you supposed to find any room for fun or personal freedom when your life is just one long string of boring dinners, annoying family visits, and social duties you can't stand? The answer, as it turns out, is pretty simple. You invent an escape hatch. And this is where we get the absolutely brilliant invention of Bunburying. Algernon makes up a fake, constantly sick friend named Bunbury, who he always has to go visit. It's the perfect excuse to get out of any social event he doesn't want to go to. But here's the thing. It's not just a funny gag. It's a tool for liberation. It's a way to live two lives, one that society sees and another one that's just for you. And this whole theme of fakeness just goes deeper. You've got both Gwendolen and Cecily being ridiculously obsessed with the idea of marrying a man named Ernest. They don't really care about the guy himself, just the name. It's Wilde's way of showing how totally superficial and performative the whole song and dance of courtship had become. It was all about appearances, with zero substance underneath. Okay, now we're getting to the very core of the play. This is the layer that many scholars think is the most profound, the most important. This is where we connect all these themes of deception, of double lives, directly to the hidden and frankly dangerous reality of Oscar Wilde's own life. You have to remember, for Oscar Wilde, living a double life wasn't just a fun idea for a comedy. It was a matter of survival. As a gay man living in a society that literally made his identity illegal, the need to perform, to hide his true self, was a constant daily reality. And once you know to look for it, the evidence is pretty much everywhere. You've got the constant juggling of identities, Jack in the country, but Ernest in the city. You have the whole idea of Bunburying, which is literally about creating a secret life so you can go find personal pleasure away from judgmental eyes. The whole play, from this perspective, is a masterclass in coded language about living a hidden life. There's a quote from an analysis that I think just nails it perfectly. It says the play reveals the flickering presence-absence of homosexual desire. It's never said out loud, of course. It couldn't be. But it's there, flickering in the subtext, in the double meanings, in the way these characters have to build their own private worlds to escape the rules of the public one.
So when you look at it through this lens, the entire play just transforms. It stops being just a simple comedy of manners and becomes this incredibly powerful personal statement. It's an act of cultural rebellion, brilliantly disguised as a piece of light, fluffy entertainment. It was Wilde's way of speaking his own truth in a world that absolutely refused to hear it. So, let's bring all these layers together for a second. Why does this play, written so long ago, still feel so incredibly fresh, so funny, and so relevant? Why has it lasted all this time? Well, I think it's because it works on all of these levels at once. We show up for the amazing jokes, but then we stay for the sharp takedown of society. Then we start to appreciate the clever ideas about identity. And finally, if we look close enough, we can arrive at its powerful, deeply personal core. It's a journey. Ultimately, Wilde's masterpiece is the perfect proof that art doesn't have to be dark and depressing to be serious. This trivial comedy for serious people has endured for one simple reason: its beautiful, glittering, frivolous surface is hiding some of the most profound truths about society, identity, and the masks that every single one of us wears. And that kind of leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? Wilde was writing about the intense social pressure of Victorian England, but his themes don't sound that alien. They feel incredibly modern. It really makes you wonder, over 100 years later, in our own lives, how much of who we are is just a performance for everybody else.